Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. What up, everybody? This is your boy Hanger, chilling at the bar, hanging with a few of our guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Thanks for joining us today. We got some Week 12 college football to talk about this week. We're going to look back at Week 11 as well, give you all some of the highlights of some of the games that we had, like LSU losing to Alabama, South Carolina beating Vandy, Ole Miss beats Georgia. You know, all the good games of last week that you want to hear about, as well as this coming week's games. You got Utah at Colorado, Clemson at Pitt, but then the big ones, obviously, we got Tennessee and Georgia, South Carolina, Mizzou, and LSU playing Florida. Is that a big one, LSU playing Florida?
No.
All right. Well, we're still going to talk about it because I'm a Florida Gator fan, so we're going to go with that. And if you are interested, you can go ahead and follow the Guys at the Bar Talking Sports as well. You can do that at Facebook. You can hop on the website, guysatthebartalkingsports.com. Facebook group is called Guys at the Bar Talking Sports as well. Even have a Twitter out there right now, Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, and probably anything you want to look for, guys. Just Google it, right? Google Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. You'll find us.
That's probably a pretty safe Google.
You can even subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on YouTube, YouTube Music, everywhere, right? So go ahead and do that. Give us a 5-star rating and review. If you haven't reviewed the show yet on Apple, well, what are you waiting for, right? Because this is the best podcast out there for sports, and we got some great stuff to talk about today. We have a really nasty liquor habit around here, so if you want to support our drinking habit, you can do that as well. Venmo, and guess what it is? It's freaking Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Easy as that. Just type in at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. You can shoot us a round of drinks if you like to buy drinks for your peeps, right? Got some people here hanging with me today. Let me go ahead and get some introductions on. We're a slim crew tonight. Everyone's got things going on, but we do have two of the best. Besides myself, we have the Mountain Man himself. How you doing, Mountain Man?
Good, buddy. How are you?
All right. So something's going on, man. I feel like you've been lying to me the entire time we've been doing this show. And I'm a little bit upset with you about this. And it's this, man. You're going by Mountain Man, Mountain Mama, Country Roads. But that show's not even about West Virginia. That song's not about West Virginia. It's about Western Virginia. Because the Shenandoah River does not run through West Virginia, and neither does the Blue Ridge Mountains. All right? You've been faking the entire time.
Step on your dick early in the show, isn't he?
Yeah. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
I'm just saying, man.
That is we've adopted that song. That is our song. When people hear that song, it says West Virginia.
Well, look, there's precedent. Dixieland Delight is not about Alabama. It's about Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone's stealing everyone else's songs, apparently, then, man.
I mean, last couple of weeks, you've been taking little jabs at me about some things.
I'm sorry, man. That's what we do around here. If you haven't noticed,
welcome to the party, brother.
And do you know how the Rebel got his name? Because he looks like fucking Barney Rubble from
it was Barney Rubble.
Barney Rubble.
Like, that
the Rebel.
Shit ain't gonna fly.
Just so you know, that when they opened Mountaineer Field in 1980, John Denver flew on a helicopter and sang the song to open the stadium. So if the man himself who wrote the song can sing it for the state of West Virginia, it's a West Virginia song.
All right, that clears it up.
Yeah,
you're not lying to me then.
No, that's the truth.
And James Taylor, in my mind, I'm going to Carolina, is not about North Carolina, even though he is from Chapel Hill.
Yeah,
it's not.
No,
what's it about?
It's about a woman.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Carolina Panthers sing "Sweet Caroline" when they win once every couple of years.
Okay,
but "Sweet Caroline" is not even about North Carolina. Carolina Panthers.
Okay, I guess Metallica did not write "Enter Sandman"
for Virginia Tech. Hell no.
All right. That's fine. I'll let it slide this time. But I don't want you lying to me anymore, mister.
I never said anything about it being West Virginia. About West Virginia. It's a West Virginia song.
All right, Rebel.
What?
I feel like App State has just shit the bucket this season. I feel like if we talked about this in early September, you were like,
no, I was very optimistic about their opportunities this year. I honestly feel like, excuse me, they have Florida State syndrome. They went deep in the portal, and the portal players have not panned out. Add to the fact that a lot of talent that was there exited to bigger and better things in a Power 4 school. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, watching Missouri-Auburn, starting running back for Auburn was tackled by the starting linebacker from Missouri. Both are App State transfers. Yep. So that's what we're running into. I feel like watching this as Group of 5 schools, you know, the initial transfer portal for them, regardless whether it's App State, James Madison, it doesn't matter. they have gone after Power 4 kids that have gone into the portal and are looking for more playing time. But to give you an example, App State picked up a kid from Auburn. I think he's like 6'6", 6'7", 305-pound offensive lineman. If you're that big and you're not playing at Auburn, there's a reason, and it's because he is soft and he has slow feet. He's just a mound to man. So I've said, transfer-wise, if you everything you got to go below to go up. So Power 4s go pluck from the group of 5s. Group of 5 has got to go to smaller group of 5s or Division II kids that are playing over their head that they're now going to pull up. So looking down for your transfers, not looking up.
Did you hear Deion Sanders' interview or his press conference?
I was gonna say.
And he was, so you could probably say it better than me, but he was saying, how many freshmen do you bring into the new class? He said 20. And how many of those are going to play? And they were like 5. And he's like, so why not just focus on 10 of them then? Why not just get 10 really good freshmen and play them all?
Because you're going to lose.
You know, because you're going to lose. You're going to lose 10 of those 20 you bring in to another to another conference or wherever through the portal the next season because they sat the entire season. They want playing time coming to high school. So he's like, I'm just going to focus on 10. Now, is that a winning strategy? Last season we were like, he lost the last 8 games of the season. But this season they're doing pretty good with that strategy that he's using.
They're doing pretty good because their schedule is very much
and they're in
set
the
up
Big
for
12. Yeah, it's not like it's that challenging a place to play.
I mean, I'm going to defend the Big 12 a little bit. It ain't like the Pac-12 was all that tough last year.
That's true.
They were what, 2 deep?
Well, hold on.
They were
minute.
2 deep last. What did USC finish the losing season?
There was 4 teams that were like 10-0 at the end of the start.
In the Pac-12?
Yeah, so you had Oregon, Washington State, and Oregon State were all teams that were performing pretty highly last year.
I think 2 of those they rematched.
And 2 of those ended up screwing up, but Washington, Oregon were.
Yeah,
I'm going to put it to you.
Utah was even pretty good last season, but they weren't.
They fell off.
They fell off.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Okay.
Outside of K-State, who beat Colorado.
Yeah, by 3.
In my opinion, you know who the second best team on their schedule was? And don't say Nebraska. North Dakota State.
North Dakota
State is the second best team they've played this year. Who's probably going to
Why
win?
not Nebraska?
Because North Dakota State
Nebraska beat them?
No, they didn't.
Nebraska beat Colorado.
Oh, that's right, they did.
They did, yeah.
So, again, but I still think North Dakota State's better than Nebraska. They're going to win the 1AA National Championship this year. So my point being is the schedule has set up this year for them to have a lot of perceived success. But it's set up for a lot of people that way. They're not the only ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, again, this new 12-team playoff is going to get a big shakeup because of this. Because you're going to have teams like, look, I'm loving the Indiana story. Even though the coach, I still don't care for him. The Indiana story is a great story. They're going to find out how much chops they got in their mouth this week. And so now you take Indiana. Yeah, when they play Ohio State, at Ohio State.
Yep.
Let's hypothetically say they lose and they got 1 loss. Are they going to make the playoffs with that weak schedule they're playing?
Yeah, it's a 103rd ranked schedule right now.
Yeah, so this is these are the kind of conversations. I mean, you look at South Carolina. I don't know how they pulled the statistic. If they win out, they have a 64% chance of making the playoff. They need a little help. The 3 losses because of who they lost, how they lost, and who they beat.
Yeah, they would need. I think they would need. It was something wild.
They would
need Georgia and Alabama to be a 3-loss team.
Yes, and they would need Notre Dame to lose, and they would need Ohio State to trip up twice.
It wasn't that far-fetched, but they would need 2 teams.
It got wild.
They would need 2 teams to slip up. And if you look at the schedules, it ain't crazy. It could happen. I mean...
Well,
I think... I saw that floating around with memes on Facebook and all that, but I think that was a made-up statistic. I had to look on like FanDuel or something to see what their chances really are.
I don't want to get too far ahead here, but I'm just putting this out there, that if West Virginia wins out, and Iowa State and Kansas State lose again, guess who's got a free shot right to the Big 12 championship game?
West Virginia?
West Virginia.
Is that right?
That is right.
That'll be...
we have somehow we have a tiebreaker over... The Colorado has to lose also, by the way. But we have a tiebreaker with Colorado somehow.
There's some chaos going on. We actually... there's enough chaos going on right now with the potential for 4 one-loss teams in the Big Ten. Right, but then obviously, we got someone else joining us today to make it a foursome. All right, my man, Figum's favorite. We have the Choppa.
I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. I'm squinting.
All right, so we got a little bit of chaos going on, man. But let's jump into last week's games before we hop into any type of chaos conversation. Okay, LSU losing to Alabama at home, 42-13. Giving Alabama a lot of credit for what they were able to do, go to Baton Rouge and dominate. Some people in our group say that it is impossible for LSU to lose at home because of that 12th man they got sitting there. The crazy LSU fans, they were shut up, and I heard that they were basically had left the stadium by about the third quarter. at that point.
For the record, I was not one of those.
You were not one of those?
No.
Okay. Man, Jaylon Milroe ran for 185 yards, unstoppable. This was a game where I'm just thinking to myself, Alabama showed LSU what they're made of, who they are, and LSU, man, they got some thinking ahead of them before they play Florida this week.
I have never seen that happen tonight at LSU like that.
I know, man.
That's
and you're the one that
crazy. I said
Chopper's
it.
the biggest defender in the world.
Yeah,
of
LSU at night,
night.
hardest place to play in the nation. And it is. But, man, Alabama stuck it to them.
But aren't you an Alabama fan now, I heard?
No.
Okay.
No. Ole Miss.
I'm
an Ole Miss fan.
Okay. Yeah. We have one person that's not an Ole Miss fan here, and that is the Mountain
genius.
Mama over
Hey,
here.
I'll eat a little crow on this one.
What do you think about 42-13 Alabama, man?
I think Alabama this feels like the same playbook they did last year, right? They look bad and rough at the beginning of the season, and at the end of the season, they just seem to be a wagon. But I think part of this game, I think the weather played into it because they ran Milroe like a running back, and the other quarterback, Nussmeier or whatever.
Yeah, there's some shitty weather in the Southeast, man.
He ain't mobile. He's not that. He's not really that great, I guess. It just felt like that it was just Alabama was a better team. I was thought it'd be a closer game, but I thought Alabama would win, but not like that. I didn't think it would be a blowout.
You are basically seeing, again, we seems like this comes back to this every week. You are seeing the effects of NIL and the transfer portal in that the Southeastern Conference, everybody is saying it's a down year. It is more parity in the SEC than there ever has been because all these top players aren't going to one or two schools. They're going across the spectrum. Well, that's why Vandy is competitive right now. So my point telling you that is those same two teams can play again this week, and LSU might win a game. It's whoever shows up, whoever gets the breaks, whoever gets behind.
Yeah.
And
that's why
let's
you
see
see
what
how
happens.
many two-loss SEC teams.
Correct.
SEC teams.
I don't know. Boy, LSU,
Texas could have two losses. They could lose A&M.
LSU has played two running quarterbacks in the last 3
Yeah.
weeks and got humiliated by both. Texas A&M's kid ran all over him. Jaylon Milroe ran all over them. I mean, LSU's got a defense problem.
They got a coaching problem.
Well, I agree with that too. I bashed him enough, but
There's plenty of people that are already trying to run him out of town because he's doing the same garbage he's been everywhere he is, and now he's doing it down there. I mean, zebra stripes don't change. So
I like how he was complaining to the referee that that Alabama was still blitzing with 7 seconds to go in the game.
He was complaining.
Did you see that? What's the ref going to do about it?
he went on a little tirade about how they're blowing him out and they blitzed 7 on the last play of the game.
But LSU left the starters in the game.
Alabama had they didn't have their starters in.
Oh, that's what.
And those their second and third string were playing hard.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Which
I mean,
they should be.
Look, if you're a kid, you don't ever get on the field, and you're going to get on the field against
They should
LSU.
be
You never
playing-
thought you were going to get to
and
play
they-
again.
Yeah,
Yes,
you play ball.
100%.
Yeah.
I would say play your heart out. Just like when I was watching I was in Austin watching that Texas game against Florida, and Florida's getting blown out 42-0 at the half. In the third quarter, obviously they put in Manning, yeah, but they also put in a lot of their second, third string guys on the defense and so forth, and they were playing their hearts out just as hard as they can, And Florida ended up winning the half, and a lot of the great Gator fans were like, "Well, we won the half, we scored more points." Yeah, because they had their second freaking string in, and we barely beat them the second half as well. Yeah. There's something going on there for a team that if you put your second string in, give them the chance to play LSU as hard as they can, and they did, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's probably a gentleman's agreement too. I'm going to put my guys in, and you go ahead and put your backup guys in, and we'll play straight up. But LSU was still throwing the ball. Nussmeier was still in the game. So why not pin your ears back and come after?
Spurrier was the best, right? They're coming out and saying it's not my job to slow my offense down. It's your job to stop my offense, right?
Oh yeah, that was his MO because he used to run. He used to get accused all the time of running the score up 80-80.
Well, he was back in the time and place where style points mattered.
You had to.
You had to.
Oh, they did. Yeah,
You had to.
For sure. And people would say he's just running up the score. It's like, well, you know what? My guys are gonna play. Let them fucking play.
That mentality started with Jimmy Johnson back in the 80s.
It did.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
There's
right.
no reason not to. Carolina did beat Vandy. It wasn't really It wasn't. The first half was not exactly a lot of style points, but they really did a really good job in the second half.
I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, 7-0 at the half, but then Carolina puts up 21 more points. Vandy looked like Vandy on Saturday, basically. And this is a pretty good team. We all thought it would be a pretty close game.
Guys, South Carolina gets better and better every week. They are a team you do not want to play.
Best three-loss team out there.
And you think about it. Ole Miss came in here and smacked them around. There ain't no excuse in that away. But you're a play or two away from them being a one-loss team right now that everybody's going, where did they come from? Again, they are getting better and better. I mean, I don't think I don't think it's going to be far fetched for them potentially to be favored in the remaining 3 games, including a game at Clemson. I think.
Oh, they should be. Yeah.
I mean, it's you let them win these final 3 games, and we were talking about this prior to the show. You let it get a few upset losses here and there.
9-win season's big.
South Carolina starts getting whispers.
And a lot of the times, the people that are making these decisions in that committee, they are looking at back half of the season.
Right.
Do you have momentum going into the final weeks of the season? And Carolina has momentum. We'll see against Missouri. They are favored by 7.5 points, I think. Yeah. And Missouri has a lot to play for. We're going to talk about that game. But this one against Vanderbilt, I think it did show that Carolina is... I mean, they're at the beginning of the season, it was like, oh, they beat Vandy. Well, that was expected. But after Vandy beats Alabama, after Vandy's playing
Texas won by 3 points in Vanderbilt. Alabama lost. South Carolina won by 21.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's what you're saying with South Carolina. Their defense is nasty. That defense is legit, okay? You look at their offense, their OC is now figuring out where Seller's sweet spot is. Those first few games, they wanted him to stand back there and be a pocket passer. But now they're figuring out, let him run around a little bit, and you slow these linebackers down a little bit, and an offensive line that's average at best becomes a lot better because the defense can't just pin back their ears and come after him.
That opens rocket up.
100%.
I do have a request. Can Sellers please stop dropping the fucking ball?
Oh, God.
I think he's at least dropped the ball once in every game this year. He hasn't lost them all, but he drops it.
He drops them in bad spots.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it's...
I love the kid. I think he is special. Stop dropping the damn ball. Shit.
That's going to come with experience.
I know.
Yeah, he's a freshman. You got to give him a...
But we're getting to a part of the season. You better be cleaning that up.
We're not at that part. I mean, he could do that against Missouri.
Yeah, you can't. This is the part of the season where you can't do that no more.
You can't do that.
You got to win this.
I mean, hey, ask Missouri. A scoop and score with 30 seconds left in the game won them the game last week.
Oh, there was a couple of games that ended that way this weekend. Missouri beat Oklahoma, West Virginia beat Cincinnati.
Let me tell you what, having that quarterback run around back there with the ball might cost Venables his job. Because how dumb. Just give it to running back, run out the clock, get out of there with a win when you've had a really bad season.
That was crazy.
I think that's the bag, man.
That was crazy.
Georgia Tech beat Miami 28-23.
I don't say this very often.
What?
And I think that was the best game of the week.
Georgia Tech Miami?
I was like, wow.
It was an exciting game to watch.
Exciting game. So, I will not ever say that about the ACC, but it was an exciting game.
So I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't see much of it, but it felt like it was the same old Miami without that fourth quarter, pulling away kind of thing.
No, it was, Georgia Tech was all over them, man. All over them.
Yeah, Georgia Tech played solid and then forced a turnover when it mattered.
How did Cam Ward look?
He put up 430 yards passing.
Holy cow, did he really?
It was ridiculous.
He just turned over the ball at the wrong time.
Yeah, Miami had a good game if you look at the paper. Now, Georgia put up like 220 yards rushing or something like that, or 230 yards rushing. I mean, they were able to run the ball no problem against Miami. Miami can't stop the run.
Well, Georgia Tech did that to Florida. I mean, I know this was for Florida State, but week 1 Florida State over in Ireland. Didn't they run it down their throat quite a bit?
Oh, yeah.
They did, yeah.
They did.
Yeah, and they played good defense.
Yeah.
And against Miami, I mean, you have the best quarterback in the country at Miami, and he had 430 yards passing. That's pretty solid. Wow. But then again, to only score 23 points off of 430 yards, I mean, that means that in the red zone they were to stop them. I think they were 0 for 4 on fourth down conversions at Miami.
What was his? And I apologize. What was his complete? How many completions versus throws? His completion percentage. What was his completion?
His completion percentage is low because every time I don't know what it was in that game out, but I know overall he's not even in the top 20 for completion percentage.
I guess my question
is,
are those 400 yards garbage thinking dunk trying to win the game in the fourth quarter?
No, they would have been down the field. They just couldn't finish.
Yeah.
They just couldn't. They were between the 20s. He was moving the ball like usually, just couldn't finish, and then the game ended on him turning the ball over with a minute and a half left.
Georgia Tech.
You still have Georgia Tech left, and with Georgia Tech coming in hot. Could they if they give Georgia 3 losses, does that help South Carolina?
100%.
Oh yeah,
same way Auburn smacking Alabama would do the same thing.
That's right. Both Georgia Tech and Auburn could help South Carolina at the end there.
All right, BYU beat Utah. Did y'all hear the coach's?
No, that wasn't the coach. That was the AD.
Oh, that was the AD. That's right.
Yeah.
The AD gets up.
There was a man on this show once upon a time says we have a referee problem. That game kind of reinforces that a little bit.
It was a really bad. I mean,
that was crazy.
I was rooting for BYU because it helps the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
But boy, that was such a bad. It was a bad
holding, and You're allowed to touch somebody and do stuff in the first 4 or 5 yards when you're running.
In 5 yards, you can make contact. You still can't grab him.
Yeah.
You still can't get a hold of him. But I can punch and beat on you. But outside of that, then it's got to be about the football at that point.
Yeah.
That was a bad call.
Yeah.
And then the one behind that, or the one before or behind that, wasn't much better. I mean, it's and then they're trying to say, well, that was referee was a Pac-12 referee, so he wouldn't have been doing that to Utah. I'm like, bull crap. I'm like, the AD went out on the field and accosted the referee at midfield.
The AD said in the press conference that they got forced to join a conference they didn't want to be a part of anyway. I mean, he just went. He went scorched earth on the Big 12 and college football and BYU and Utah. I mean, now my understanding is he's on his way out. That they're about to fire his ass.
So he
going out.
He had his parting shot.
Yeah, right.
He's the guy that jumped up on the boss's desk and took a leak. Got his way out the door.
Is he trying to get on Guys Never Talking Sports? Is that what he's trying to do?
Hey, I would love to. You got a podcast where you want to dial in.
I would love to talk to that guy.
Oh, yeah. I might call him. I might call him up, get him on the show. We'll do an interview, live interview. In the off season, we're talking about doing interviews and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with that. Biggest game of the week. Ole Miss beats Georgia 28-10. Did y'all say? I was saying Alabama LSU was the biggest game of the week last week.
I said that, but
Yeah,
And y'all said that Georgia Ole Miss was the biggest game of the week last week.
no, I didn't.
And then it turned out that both games were pretty big games. 28 or 42-13
historically
Alabama
speaking,
LSU.
Alabama
Ole
LSU.
Miss took control of that game and never turned. Lane Kiffin actually coached the game beginning to end and did not let off the gas.
I will eat crow on that one. Ole Miss, they proved me wrong because I've been down on them and
You have been. You are
I'll
such
tell
a
you
jerk to them.
What they did Saturday was impressive.
You should apologize.
I'm not, but they still played the rest of the season like sissies. But I mean, this game they
Lane Kiffin's still a peckerhead, is what he's saying. But
he's still a peckerhead, and they're still overrated. But they played their ass off Saturday. I mean, they did. Now again, we have a referee problem. Georgia has a Beck problem. They have a Carson
beat me
Beck
to
problem. He is a disaster.
Why do they keep him in? They have to have somebody
I
back him up.
think the cupboard is that bare behind him.
I think so.
Again, that whole parity thing. Georgia and Alabama aren't getting the alternate 1-3-5 best quarterback in the country every year anymore.
At one time, they had 3 studs in the same quarterback room and had let them all go because Stetson Bennett just couldn't lose the job, and now they got nobody.
Yeah,
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I guess Texas is really in a good position to have a great
Yes,
quarterback
man,
and a
there's
backup
nothing wrong with
quarterback.
that.
Well, they also have they also are in a good position because might have the deepest
Money.
pockets in the SEC to where they can keep somebody like Manning
And-
behind for 3 years.
And a kid like Manning is not. I mean, he can afford to set. I mean,
He ain't hurt.
No, it's a different. And plus, he's got the Manning bloodline, so it's not like it's a different kid. I mean, if it was vice versa, he was maybe I'm out of here, right? But it works out perfect for them.
They love Manning out there in Texas, man. When
100%.
he came in on that game, everyone was freaking out. The entire stadium was just going crazy.
I heard a discussion yesterday that was actually pretty interesting. It's not going to happen. They said if both came out this year, would Manning be drafted in front of Ewers? And I was like, ooh, let's stir that pot, baby.
There's absolutely no way Manning would go before Ewers, only because you've only seen him in second halves of games.
Have
Basically.
you watched the NFL? They drafted Trey Lance after 2 games at North Dakota State. He was the 3rd pick in the draft, and where's he at now? He's the 3rd string guy for the Cowboys.
Okay,
This is the NFL. Christian Ponder went in the top 15. How the freaking hell
Chris
that?
Winkie went in the first round.
Yeah, I mean we're talking about the NFL. They reach a lot of times.
Ryan Leaf.
Right. Well,
No, he had some stats to back his up.
At
And then
that
he went
time,
off the
people
rails.
debated whether Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf should have been number 1. Hindsight's 20.
I mean, they will. Like Anthony Richardson went first round from the Gators,
Again,
and
he should have stayed in college.
He did not. He didn't have a winning season when he played. He was not that good.
He's
Hold on. He was a beast on being able to throw the ball when he was accurate, but he was only accurate about half the time. But they still took him first round.
I think Arch would go ahead Ewers. The name Manning and just his pedigree.
name, man.
Butts in the seats, boys. Butts in the seats.
And the pedigree. Now the question is what if old Papa Arch doesn't like the team is drafting him?
I don't know what he pulled.
That's what Eli did. I mean,
He's going to be a Charger. They got Breeze instead. I think they defaulted just fine.
Rivers actually. They got Rivers out there.
He'll end up being a Cowboy.
They traded Breeze away and took
Arch
Rivers.
will.
Remember they swapped the 1st and 3rd picks. Rivers and Manning.
Yeah, that's right.
Are we getting? This is the questions of the week, and the first one was: are we getting closer to a Heisman frontrunner? Does anyone think that we're there yet?
No, let me tell you what.
There's no way.
That pisses me off. Oh, we got one.
Yeah.
We got one. He is here.
He ain't gonna
and,
win
and,
that.
and I've got my freaking T-Rex arms spread as far as wide as I can. Genty it's a front runner, ain't close, but he ain't going to win it because he plays for Boise State, and that's the biggest crock of bullshit that there ever was. Travis Hunter's going to win it. And short of him just shit the bed, he's going to win it. Oh, he plays both ways.
Yeah, but while he is the most interesting player in college football because he plays both ways, he's not the best in either of those positions. I was looking for stats on him this week, and he's not even in like the top 40 or so for receiving. He's not in the top 40 or so for
Genty is going to get Randy Moss. He's going to get McNair. They're going to invite him to the stage and pat him on the head and say, "You're such a good boy. You got here." Yeah. And then they're not going to give it to the best player that's up there.
And what they'll do is they'll give him the Doak Walker. They'll give
him everything else, but the big shebang. They won't give it, and it's a load of shit. That's what I hate about the Heisman. Over time, it has become a dog and pony show, not the best player in college football. This guy's going to break Barry Sanders' record, which many people said was untouchable.
And by the way, I'm almost positive every player that's broke 2,000 yards has won the Heisman Trophy, I think. He's going to be the first.
He's at 1785.
He's Sanders and Earl Campbell, right?
Oh, it's been 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah,
Rashawn Salaam broke 2,000 yards.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him.
I'll have to look it up. I saw the stat the other day, and I was like, "Holy!"
That's what I'm saying. They've still got him like third and like projected. He's going to be third. And I'm like, this is ludicrous.
It's Travis Hunter and Cam Ward.
And
Cam Ward has great stats, and I was trying to match those up as well. If he ends the season, he's gonna have probably around 4,500 yards passing in 3 games. But no, they only have 2 games left. Miami only has 2 games left. So if he gets 300 yards in each game, he has 40. I think he has 3,800 yards now.
They had the ACC championship game,
but that's not regular season.
Yeah, this is all based on regular season.
I thought that was the voting done before the conference championships game.
No, it's the next weekend.
First week in December.
So the voting, so they can still vote off that game, right?
I'm sure they can. Yeah,
they're not supposed to.
But the stats, I'm saying, like
the stats. I mean, the ballots.
The regular season stats, like when Joe Burrow won, he was like the most passing touchdowns in history or something like that. 53. He's not. He's not. This guy at Miami is not making stats like that, right? But we don't have anyone that's like blowing up the numbers right now.
The only guy that's putting up sick, like holy hell stats is Genty. He's the one guy.
Yeah.
This conversation, barring an injury or him just going out and rushing for 30 yards, like with one of the last 2-3 games left, this conversation should be over.
But Hunter's in that position, and I just think that is crazy. Only because he's good at both positions. He's really good at both positions, but he's not great at either one.
He's the best athlete,
in
college football. But the guy that's going to like do something that hasn't been done in a long time is not going to win.
And the thing is, because this is so political, because this is a dog and pony show. Again, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theory. You can't tell me Deion's not behind the scenes trying to work his magic and pull the strings, because I wouldn't even be shocked if it's not in his. They're talking about now he's won seven games. He got a $100,000 bonus. So now for every game he wins moving forward, Deion gets another $100,000 bonus. That's what's in his contract. Don't tell me that in there that if he has a Heisman Trophy winner, he don't get a big bonus.
They sent Travis Hunter from Colorado to Penn State for game day to be interviewed in person.
See? That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of. I mean, what association with Penn State, Pennsylvania, East Coast?
No, they're out there. They're already parading him out there.
And that interview couldn't have been done via satellite.
Yeah.
No, they brought him on stage at game day for the Penn State Ohio State.
Really, I'm
yeah. So, I mean, Rebel's right. I mean, there's a lot of marketing that goes in. We call it marketing, right? It's
kissing some ice,
kissing babies. Yep.
Shaking hands, kissing baby. More so than what happened last week. That's what's happening for the Heisman Trophy right now.
Exactly. It's all political. So, I'm with him. Genty should win it, but he's not going to. He's going to get. That's a good comparison. Randy Moss
and McNair.
And
if you went back and looked, their statistics were stupid compared. Moss lost to Woodson because he was on the stage with Manning and Woodson.
Yeah, that was a stock class.
And Leaf. And then McNair, I forget who he lost to. Eddie George. It was Eddie George. Yeah. But McNair's stats were just dumb, but because it was Alcorn State, they weren't having it.
Every year we have a 14 with the 14 playoff. It seemed like mid-November we were kind of seeing things come together. Where if the SEC championship, if Alabama if Alabama loses to Auburn, if Florida loses to Georgia, if all these things match up, Ohio State's playing Michigan. That's how it's been every year with the 14 playoff. Is that at the end of the season, it kind of worked itself out, except for last season with FSU being undefeated still, and then they left them out of the 14 playoff. But it seems like every year prior to that, especially since I've been really paying attention since we've been doing this Guys in the Bar Talking Sports thing for 5 years, like it seems like we're like, we don't know what's going to happen mid-November. We're sitting there saying that, but then we're like, but by the end of the year or end of the season's over, like it's going to work itself out because Michigan or Ohio State are going to lose this game. It's so forth, right? This year, though, with this 12-team playoff, like I'm looking at everything, and was it you that posted what you thought your top 12 are going to be?
Yeah.
I started doing the same thing as you today. You posted your top 12, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to post my top 12. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't even make a decision right now on who my top 12 would be if I was thinking about
November.
Yeah, if I'm thinking about the end of the season.
That
right?
was just right now.
Okay, you were thinking
I was doing
right
what
now.
ESPN's going to do tonight. Or matter of fact, it's already done.
They're doing
Well,
it.
it just came out.
How close was it?
I didn't pull it up. I saw
Yeah, that was today. I mean, that was today's projection. I mean, that was what I thought ESPN might do today.
Yeah, so I was just trying to figure out. I was looking at the different games that are coming up. Texas is playing
It's
Texas
too hard.
A&M. I'm looking at all these
Well,
things. I'm like, anything can happen, and it's just chaos.
Here's where I have to say I was wrong, and maybe this isn't going to be an outlier year. I said what I liked about the 12-team playoff was when you got down to 4, figuring out 3, 4, 5, and 6 was going to be way harder than figuring out 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That was completely wrong based off what we've seen this year. And again, you know, as these guys have heard me say for years, when my teams aren't real good, which South Carolina right now is having some fun, but this would help this. I like chaos.
I do too.
Again, I'm going to throw a hypothetical out there. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole for a second. In the unlikely event, let me preface this, unlikely event that Army wins out, are they going to give Boise State an at-large bid or leave Army out of the playoff as an undefeated conference champion?
I think if Boise State keeps on winning, they are not just number 12 anymore. They'll be like number 8, right? And
Yeah,
number
but-
7.
but they're still-
at the end of the season,
but
and
see-
then they'll make them not the
They'll be at
Big
large
12.
bid.
Yeah, they'll be an at-large
And
bid.
they'll put Army in at 12.
As-
Somebody's going to pay the price for that.
That's what I'm saying.
An SEC team is going to get left
going to
out.
be sitting out.
Because Big 12 is only...
Big 12 is getting 1.
Unless, and I posed this question earlier in the chat, unless, let's just say, Colorado, because of their schedule, gets there and plays undefeated BYU and beats BYU by 3 points, does BYU really get left out? After going all year long undefeated, loses one game by 3 points in the Big 12 championship, do they get left out?
See, I don't think that they would, and I've had a lot of
That's
people
two
say,
teams now, the Big
Yeah.
12. Somebody's getting screwed here.
Yeah.
What I love about this is we're going to have these same conversations in March come the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah.
I knew this is where this would end up, and I love it because I love March Madness.
Yeah, but the March Madness has so many teams in it. Like,
But what you have in March Madness is every conference champion gets in, so you have this team that's 500 run the table in the tournament,
Yeah.
win the tournament, and it knocks out a team.
NC State, if I ain't mistaken, last year ran the ACC tournament.
ACC tournament.
That cost like 3 teams a bid to the NCAA tournament.
They hit,
automatic.
they hit a buzzer beater to put it in overtime to beat.
Dude,
No,
one-
no, it wasn't North Carolina. It's like
I
Virginia, Florida
don't
State.
remember. It was-
Anyway, and then they ran it and then made it to the Final Four. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to make this fun. But there's still a lot of scenarios that have to play out before it really becomes more clear.
I still think the 7, 8, 9, the meat of the bracket is where you're going to have a lot because you're going to have somebody's going to have to play on the road. A Georgia, an Alabama.
Georgia ain't getting in.
If Ohio State loses again to Oregon,
Georgia's getting in?
somebody's got to go on the road.
Georgia ain't getting in.
I'm just playing it out there.
Georgia. So if Georgia beats Tennessee this weekend, which we'll be talking
You
about
don't
that
think
later,
that-
right?
oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, a two-loss SEC team. We were saying at the beginning of the season that it's possible that like a 3-loss SEC team.
And it's
get in
still
if
like
they're
AKA
in
South
Central.
Carolina because
Yeah.
if they run the table.
Exactly.
Boise State could lose. Army could lose. I mean, I know one of them have to get in.
Yeah.
But
But-
if Big 12 goes chalk, ACC goes chalk, and Boise State goes chalk, then a three-loss ACC team, or I'm sorry, an SEC team could easily get in.
Yeah, like
Especially if it's Alabama.
Well, we said at the beginning of the season they were saying that if Florida ends up with 3 losses, but they have the hardest schedule in the country, then they can possibly get in. But in hindsight, Florida doesn't have as hard of a schedule as we thought they would because Florida State is not the team that they thought they were going to be. Carolina, though, every team that they played at the beginning of the season that they thought were going to be tough are tougher than they thought they would be.
I think are they saying Georgia's had the toughest SEC schedule so far?
I would think
I saw that.
I would think that that's probably true. Yeah.
So that's where I'm. That's
So
where
a
they would
3-loss
get
Georgia may get in then. You know,
if they, I don't know, man. They lose 3. I don't know. I'm sorry, and I'm not. I'm not trying to be anti-SEC because I've been swallowed up by the SEC for years now, where I've lived. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're in the SEC. If you got 3 losses, you ain't getting in. Period. End of story. I'm sorry. You want to boast? You want to bang your chest that you're the best conference, you're the NFL, and all this kind of shit? You got to win.
You two have to win. But if you're going head to head against,
I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I don't want to hear it.
All right.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, I guess we will see what happens, y'all. Did the stats came out on that? So
I didn't pull it up because it just said it was released and it was a video and I didn't want to play it.
Yeah, okay, let's not worry about that then. We're gonna do it live on air, y'all. But anyway, so do we need to get back to divisions and conferences again? This is really
God. No,
why would you
even ask that?
Yeah, why?
What did you ask?
Do we need to get
He
back
wants to go back to divisions and the conferences.
No.
So we can have a Wisconsin play Ohio State, the Big Ten champion. Oh, are you shitting me? No way,
the best
man.
two teams.
This is why it's working.
Yeah, that's right.
No, so I heard something.
This is
I heard something that's kind of unique. I'm like, logistically it'd be hard, but oh boy, was basically you're going to end up losing non-conference games if they were to shake this out. But every conference ends up having a Final Four. You take your top four, let them play down to a conference champion the last 2 weeks.
If they follow
last
the
2 weeks,
if they follow the NFL model, they will do that.
yeah. So where they would play down the last 2 weeks, and then you have your conference champion come out of a 14 playoff interconference.
Yeah.
No. You don't add games. You shed games.
Oh, I got you.
And so
Shed
where
games,
your
yeah.
conference schedule would be like 7 games with a non-conference.
Okay.
But the last 2 games of your season would be a 14 playoff if you were the top 4 teams, and then you play your conference championship to where some of this would sort itself out, and then that would make an early loss in the season even less important and allow you to recover.
I mean, it's like
That's
that's why I mean. I know it can be apples and oranges with the NFL, but the NFL don't need They don't need rankings. They play it on the field. They division them up. They play it on the field. and They do it the right way. You don't matter how many losses you got, But I don't know. I don't want to see East and West and the Big Ten, East and West, because I mean, I know every so often we got a classic like Alabama and Georgia. We didn't get that very often. Usually it was powerhouse one team and the other side was shit. 59-0 a couple years ago. Ohio State beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. Wisconsin like 4 losses. No more divisions. Until they get so big, they have to break into like
the other again, and they were taking logistics out of this conversation. They said the other thing you could do, which this would be even more fun, is basically, let's say the SEC, you have your 1 through, how many teams they have now? What?
16.
So you would rank out 1 to 16 based off this year, and then you would form your schedule at the end of the year. 1 goes to this division, 2 goes to this, 3 goes to this, 4 goes to this, and that's the divisions for that year. You realign them the next year based off their finish from the year before.
I think that would be a dynamite plan.
I mean, I think it'd be great. I just think logistically, I don't know how you would pull it off.
I heard I did hear something. I don't know if it was Reese Davis on McAfee, but they talked about doing something like that, but you kept it a 2-year commitment. So you played a home and home with each team.
That's fair too. I could go with that.
Yeah.
In other words, whoever you're on your schedule, you're going to play them again next year.
The only reason why I think that is because you would not have this situation in the Big Ten right now where you might have 4 one-loss teams at the end of the season. And how do you figure out who's going to be in the championship?
Okay, so let's talk about this. That's Ohio State.
Ohio
that's
State, Oregon, Penn State, Indiana.
Those 3 were in the same division in the Big Ten anyway. That wouldn't have changed anything.
Oregon wasn't there. Oregon would have been in the West. Big Ten. Oregon would have ended up being in the West.
Right. Okay, so then that would have been okay. So you had the one Oregon by themselves. Then you had Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, who I think were all in the same division, leaders or legends or whatever.
Well, we already know Penn State beat Ohio State, and then Indiana.
But that wouldn't have solved anything with those divisions.
Or Ohio State beat Penn State. Indiana ends up losing to Ohio State in 2 weeks, if that happened. If Indiana beats Ohio State, then obviously
it's easier.
It
gets
easier. Yeah.
Happen,
no, I don't think so either. But
what I'm surprised with all this is, I mean, we're having these kind of conversations. And I think a lot of people want to know, and I think they're just waiting to let it play out. I want to know what the tiebreakers are now, so we can start playing these scenarios out. Okay, you got 4 one-loss Big Ten schools. Head-to-head is going to be a matter of that.
I'll have our producers look it up this week, and then I'll tell you.
I don't know if they've openly laid them out yet.
And that's why I like watching the selection every week, because Reese Davis asked the head guy, the head committee person, what went into your thoughts this week? And a lot of times they, talk around the question.
Of course they talk around the
question.
question.
But it'll be interesting, because, last year when they had to explain why they didn't take Florida State or Georgia and took Alabama instead, which Alabama beat Georgia, but okay. They were pretty straightforward. Yeah, basically Florida State wasn't going to be the same team.
Florida State basically had a broken leg because they're on their 3rd string quarterback.
I understand, but I want to see what this guy has to say now about why they ranked teams the way they ranked them and why certain teams got left out and why did... You know what I mean? How'd you leave a one-loss Big Ten team out? I can't wait to see that justification. Now, I'm with him on the tiebreakers, but I don't know. I'm sure there's a formula out there. I just don't know what it is on tiebreakers.
All right, here we go. So it's Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana is 5, followed by BYU, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia.
Ole Miss is in the picture, huh?
Okay, so then
Georgia's in the picture
that's
too.
the rankings. Now, how they bracket them?
the anticipated bracket. It might not even say it on his thing.
No, it don't. And they got Boise State is number 13. See, they're going to leave Boise State out of that top little bit.
Somebody has to make that. They have one of them has
Who
to.
they punted was Miami.
I knew that was going to happen.
They
SMU
punted
is the
with-
only one now. SMU's in the catbird seat.
No, the SMU is 14, followed by Texas A&M, Kansas State, Colorado, Washington State, Louisville, and Clemson.
Who's the ACC?
South Carolina, LSU, Missouri, Army, and Tulane round out the top 25.
Who's the ACC's top team
SMU
at 14?
at 14.
Wow.
Now, what there is a rule.
no,
about
they're
that-
going to be in.
The champion gets in.
No, I know, but there's a rule about the group of 5 school could get a bye if one of the big 4 is not ranked in the top 12.
It is not higher. Yeah. It's
Yes.
not
So
ranked
Boise
higher.
State gets a
So
bye.
Boise
Boise
State
State
could
gets
get
a
a bye.
bye.
Absolutely, they could get a bye if they're ranked ahead of the
Oh,
ACC champion,
Lord.
and they're not in the top 12. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
That leaves
That's
the ACC
exactly
to
ours.
No, the ACC gets in. But they don't get a bye.
The highest ranked conference champions, the 4 highest ranked conference champions
Yes.
get a bye. That could be a group of 5
If-
conference champions.
If
Oh, wow.
if Big 12, ACC, SEC, their
Yeah.
champion is 13 or lower.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And,
They're
and
12.
Boise State was ranked higher.
Yes, so there's
Yeah.
a chance Boise could host a game.
That'd be
Or,
great.
well, Boise would be in they get a bye. So
They would get
They were getting by and they host. They were the
And
first
they'd be a host,
champion
yeah.
you host.
but if you get a bye, that's a bowl game. The teams get buys.
No,
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying-
right. That's true. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if you're in those top 4, you host your first game.
No, you don't.
No.
You're
The
a bye.
first 4 games are hosted by the
5 and 12,
the first
9,
round.
8 and 9.
And then it gets based off ranking.
And then it's in,
No, it's a season
Then it's bowl
thing.
games.
But the 4 teams that got a bye go to there's Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl.
Yeah,
Fiesta,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
hosting
yeah.
them. So I guess Oregon,
Oh, okay. So you won't get a home game. I see what
yeah,
you're
you
saying.
don't.
It's
you
neutral.
don't-
It's neutral site.
Oregon would get to pick Rose or Fiesta. I'm
si-
sure.
yeah, number 5 through 12, they're going to be the number 5, 6, 7, 8 team hosts at their school. But then the first 4 get a bye. But then the next games after that are going to be bowl games.
Yeah.
Is the way it's going to
So
run. down.
financially, it would be better to be the 5
And
seed
that's-
than the 4 seed.
Pat McAfee said today that
For your school, yeah.
Yeah, not just that, but you may have almost a month off between your last game at Thanksgiving weekend and that. If you're like, let's say you're Oregon, they play their last game.
See,
no, not Oregon.
no,
That's a bad
they're-
example. Let's say I'm trying to think of.
If you're healthy.
That's nothing. I mean, a month. We've seen in past bowl games when a team had a month off.
No, so I'm going to tell you that's going to change over time. They're going to go more to what the 1AA or FCS does.
Yeah.
Is they may give them Thanksgiving weekend off because they've got. You may have 1 week off and then you go into that because look like baseball. When baseball had 1 week off and they come apart. Can you imagine having? Let's look at Ole Miss. Let's use them as a great example. You get South Carolina. You get all this momentum and then you sit on your ass for a month. That momentum is gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
I
Right
argue
there.
And your boys, when they beat Ohio State in the national championship, Ohio State didn't play a game because at that time they didn't have a Big Ten championship. So
Correct.
Ohio State
Yeah.
played their last game in November. Florida played theirs a week later in the SEC championship game. Florida goes in and stomps the shit out of Ohio State in the national championship 2007 or 8 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that was, I strictly believe, because Ohio State had almost 51 days or something off because the championship game was played like January 4th or 5th or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there is something to that. Yeah.
I guess the playoff helped out a little bit with the top 4 because then you had 2 games back to back, so it would be fine. But then this is going to allow those teams. I think it's the Army Navy game week, and then the week after that.
Oh, we have football straight through.
Yeah, we have football straight through December, with not just your crappy bowl games. Piss school playing this school and that.
Yeah, but the bowl games still like for example, South Carolina. It's a chance for them. I know Rebel.
I love watching
His wet
bowl
dream
games.
is they're going to make the playoff.
No, right now they've got them projected because again, it takes a lot of. They're in the Capital One or they're in the Outback.
But how important is that bowl game for Shane Beamer and his 10 wins? That team wasn't supposed to win 4 wins this year.
Yeah.
After that Old Dominion game, we all sat here and we were like, oh boy.
They projected them at 4.5 at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So to come back and again, I'm bouncing off the walls here. You want to go back and look at South Carolina versus Florida State. All of South Carolina's transfers have come in and killed it.
Yeah.
Rocket Sanders, Kennard, all those guys transferred in. But you look at Florida State, DJ Alphabet where's he at lately? He's under a rock, and I heard he was transferring to Florida. I did hear that, by the way.
Oh yeah,
That did. I think it was a joke.
that's not happening. All right, so you want to know another thing that kills it? It's us getting killed by a 5-year-old. Okay. This kid,
The legend.
The legend. That's right. So if you want to be smarter than a 5-year-old, he's not even 5 yet. So if you're trying to be smarter than a 4-year-old, it's not me because I am not winning this thing. But every week we do list our 7 games, and then we try to beat Landon the legend.
You got to give. Hey, this volunteer went rogue this week, so give it a good listen.
He did. His family's volunteer. I think they're actually sending him over to
his
the
dad-
Chopper's house to live.
His dad said he's
because-
sleeping on the porch
Yeah,
tonight.
because he went with Georgia. So here's Supposedly, he says he looked at his dad. He's like, "Can I change my pick?"
And Mom said, absolutely not.
Yeah. All right, so here's your legendary picks, and we'll pick up on our picks after that.
Colorado, Clemson, LSU, SMU, Notre Dame, Georgia.
All right, so there goes your legendary picks, and he is better at picking than me. I know that for a fact because I'm losing and he's not. There's a few others that are losing as well to the 4-year-old. I thought he was 5, but he's
Not
4,
yet.
so
Not
I'm not
yet.
even smarter than the 4-year-old. I feel bad.
He played in 4-year-old baseball championship tonight,
Yep.
so or
Nice.
All-Star or something like that.
Yeah. All right. So here's the games and the ones that we're choosing. Ready? We got Utah at number 18, Colorado. I hear somebody. I think it was who said it last week that they think that Colorado is going to basically win out the rest of the season and win the Big 12 championship. Was that you? All right. So we had Mountain Mama over here has a lot of confidence in the number 18 Colorado. What are they ranked at now? What do we have them at on the on that list?
I think they were somewhere in the mid-teens.
The mid-teens. Okay, so let's just stick with 18. That's fine. Potential upset for Utah. I mean, Utah has been last week. We talked about this. Like defensively, they were fine. They basically had that game quote unquote stolen from them. If you want to go that route, but Colorado has much better offense than I would. Than BYU. I would say. Does anyone think this is an upset? Utah or Colorado? Chopper. I'm going to start with you on this one, man. Do you have confidence in your boy, Dion?
You know I do.
All right.
Yeah, that's a tough one, though.
This week's some of the toughest ones we've put up there, to be honest with you, to pick.
Well, they're not all just like gimmies, right? I really don't think
Where's this
so.
game?
It's
It's
at
playing
Colorado.
at Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Colorado.
It's a tough place to play now, I bet. You got
Yeah.
60,000 fans that had a lot of pent-up anger for the last, 10 years. So.
Yeah.
It's been a while, yeah.
By the way, I don't know, man.
right
Is
now.
Boulder at elevation? I mean, is it like higher than Denver?
It's around that 6,000.
It's right around
mark,
Denver, okay.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, because you're not going up into the mountains to get from Denver to Boulder.
It's not like when you go to Colorado Springs to play Colorado State. They're a little higher, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking the Buffaloes.
All right, you got the Buffaloes. Who you got there, Mountain Mama Jamma?
Not Mamma Jamma.
Got a new name now.
Yeah, it's always something. I got Colorado.
You got Colorado, okay. And Barney the Rebel.
Look here, you better stop it at the door.
Rebel, my man the Rebel. Who you got, man?
Begrudgingly Colorado, because they're going to win this one, but they do lose, but it's not this week.
You don't think it's this week?
No,
Okay.
they lose last week of the season.
Colorado State? Is that who they play? No, they don't play that.
No, they're last week of the season, Okie State. Okie State goes in. Van Gundy goes in and wrecks it.
All right, I am going to go ahead and you can't bet against Dion on this one, man. I'm going to stick with Colorado.
Quarterback. They don't
Colorado
quarterback.
as well. Yeah, Utah.
Yeah, they're like their 5th or 6th quarterback.
They are, yeah. They just don't know. It would have to be a completely defensive game, and I think that from the standpoint of Colorado going in there and playing against Utah, it's going to be an offensive game, man. They're going to win that game. All right, number 17, Clemson at Pitt. The only reason I put this game in there is because Pitt was ranked, and they're playing good ball. And Clemson's ranked, and they haven't been playing.
Virginia.
They've lost. Well, that's enough. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Are they one loss right now?
I'll let you finish, and I'll speak my piece.
Of course, he's going to
right.
have an opinion on this one.
Both teams have a chance of playing the ACC championship right now. If Pitt wins this game, they are on track to go to the ACC championship against Miami
No.
or SMU.
SMU's in the catbird seat right now.
Well, Pitt's lost 2 games. They lost back-to-back games.
Yep.
But
Okay.
we said earlier talking about refereeing. Boy, I don't know if y'all saw what happened with this game or not. Virginia goes for it. Pitt's winning. Mm-hmm. Game is down at the end. Virginia goes for it on 4th and 1 and don't get it. I mean, awfully don't get it. The referees blow the whistle and call it dead, and the ref says
They called the timeout.
The
They
refs,
weren't ready. The refs weren't
refs
ready.
were not in position to call, so they have to replay the down.
Oh, no.
Guess what Virginia does? Scores a touchdown to win the game.
Wow.
And that's it. Now look, I loved it, but I have to be fair on this. They got screwed.
They got screwed.
I mean, they got screwed. So
who you got in this game then with all that cop?
So I don't. That's the thing. I don't.
Clemson or Pitt?
They're both reeling.
It's easy to me.
I mean, I'm going to take. I'm going to take Pitt.
You're going to take Pitt?
Yeah, I'm going to take.
All
Pitt.
right, put him down for Pitt. Rebel, who you got?
This is a game of overrated pig shit playing overrated dog shit.
Exactly.
So
That's
who
what this
wins when
game
it's
is.
overrated pig shit versus dog shit? Because
I hear pig shit.
pigs will eat dog shit.
That's
so.
why I'm saying, and that's why Clemson wins the game, because pigs will eat dogs. And I mean, it is. It's. I mean, it may be a close game, but no, they're both just. They're not good.
You taking Clemson?
I'm taking Clemson.
Clemson, all right. Chopper,
With a
Clemson.
P. Clemson with a P.
Going Pitt.
Pitt. I think I am going to stick with Clemson on this one, man. I just don't think Clemson is going to... I think that Clemson has to figure out how to win, and they're going to win this game.
You're taking Clemson.
I got Clemson, yeah. Okay, you guys know how I hold the Gators dear to my heart, right?
LSU crushes them.
And
Oh
LSU at Florida.
LSU
This one is clearly winnable for Florida, in my opinion.
Who's playing quarterback?
Oh my gosh.
Well, who
The
knows?
little old lady
Lagway.
they found off the corner.
Is it
Yeah.
the boy from Yale?
So DJ Lagway is 100%, or not 100, 99% right now.
Okay.
Possibly going to play, most likely going to play.
I only ask you that because if the way LSU has looked against mobile quarterbacks, I would think if he's 100%, I could see Florida giving him trouble. I really could. But I don't know who's. I mean, if you march out old Yale boy out there, then
Who can't run the ball for the
you
life
can't
of
do
them.
anything from what I can tell.
So, from a safe standpoint, you're
Makes
sticking with
me
LSU
great.
then.
I mean, we don't know who we don't. I mean, as of
LSU wins games.
yeah,
Say it.
I have to pick LSU because I don't know if Lagway's playing. And even if he played, I don't think Florida could win. I think they can make it interesting. A lot better than 49-17 like y'all had against Texas.
All right, LSU. Who do you got there, Chopper? You got you on my side here, man? LSU, Florida?
I would love to be on your side, but that's just a hard place to be, man. LSU.
All right, I'm sticking with Florida because I never bet against my boys, even though I should bet against my boys on this one. Statistically, LSU, depending upon who's playing, I mean, but they're playing in the swamp. I don't know that's going to help the gentleman from Yale. That's true. Warner is his name. But we'll see, man.
Hey, Fitzmagic was from Harvard, man. Leave those guys alone.
And he stayed at Harvard, played at Harvard. He didn't try to go to a big school.
He didn't even play at Yale. He didn't even get to play.
That's even worse. The guy didn't even play at Yale. And
They wouldn't put him in
I wonder why.
because he can't fucking throw the ball. It's so bad. I'm watching it live, so I got to see this all game on Saturday, and I'm just like, dude, that ball was 7 yards off. Like, he throws it, the ball's supposed to be going, like, over here, and it goes way over there.
He's seeing ghosts out
Hey,
there.
but Hanger took the Gators, baby.
And I'm still going with my Gators, baby, number one in 2035. Number one in 2035. All right,
Gainesville.
sticking with them. All right.
Gainesville.
Boston College at number 14 SMU. The reason why I put this one in there as well is because Boston College is one of those teams that like can do a sneaky upset every once in a while. And SMU, while they are pretty damn good on offense, I don't know that they have a defense to keep people down from scoring. That being said, it's just one of those ones I'm just like, Boston College, every year they have that one upset where you're just like, holy shit, we didn't expect them to win and they did. You know? It'll be against Clemson. It'll be against,
They already had it this year.
They already had it this year. All right, so I'm gonna put Rebel down for SMU then, I imagine.
Yeah.
All right, with his mouth full of food, 35 feet away from the microphone, he's going with
All
SMU.
you did was bitch and moan about rattling chip bags. And I'm sitting over
No
here
one wants to hear you talk with your face full of food. Okay.
No, this is going to be close. It'd be close because, again, SMU has not been in this position in a really, really, really long time to be relevant. So what you tend to see with teams like that is they start to get a little tighter, until they, cause they go into don't lose versus win.
Yeah.
This game will be closer than it should be, but I think SMU pulls it out, especially because they're playing in Dallas.
Put me down for SMU also. All right. Who do you got there, Chopper?
Me three.
Me three. SMU. They're playing good ball, man.
Yep.
But it's one of those ones I said. A potential upset's brewing, man. We all might lose on this one.
We'll see how
Who do you got?
Rhett Lashley do
Put me
well.
down for 4, SMU.
Oh, all the way around the
Now,
table.
Boston College's quarterback got benched. I don't know if that matters to you or not.
That could be good or bad.
He's played pretty well this year. I don't know what's
Why
going
did he
on.
get benched? Did they
I don't
say?
know. I don't know. Bill O'Brien didn't say.
Oh, we'll have to have our producers look it up or something?
Yeah.
All right.
Get your guys on it then.
I think it had something to do with cocaine and hookers.
Again, we don't listen to people that are 30 feet away from the microphone when they talk.
I said it had to do with cocaine and hookers.
Probably did. All right. Virginia at Notre Dame. We've all been looking for Notre Dame to shit the bucket.
Well, they did that
like they
already.
do. No, but like they do every season. And they didn't shit the bucket. They're number 8 right now in the playoff contention. They've lost one game. They're still making a roll right now to be in the playoffs. But they're always that team that'll be like, at the end of the season, there's just like, blah, they screw it all up, right? And Virginia might have the chance to do it this week.
Nope.
There's no chance?
No chance.
So I'm putting you down for Notre Dame there.
Dame.
All right. What do you got there, Rebel?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. I got Notre Dame as well. I think that they're playing good ball. And I see you nodding your head over there, Mountain Mama. Our listeners cannot see that though.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Just in case you didn't know, we don't film the show.
I mean, honestly, Notre Dame's this kind of Wayne said it's not Notre Dame's biggest challenge in the season is Army next week.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's biggest challenge is Notre Dame. Like just staying.
No, I got
bad news for Virginia. The way that they got the call in Pitt, you never get those calls in South Bend. Notre Dame's winning this game.
I got a question for y'all. Is Marcus Freeman gone after the end of the season? Is he going to get paid by a team like Florida? By one of the teams that needs a coach? This guy has proven. Brian Kelly left 3 seasons ago? Or 2 seasons ago? This is Brian Kelly's second season at LSU.
Third season.
Yeah. And he has proven that he could remain relevant as a brand new coach. Did well the first season, did well the second season. Makes it to the playoffs the third season.
It's how you're trending. And he is trending positively, and not because they're falling into it, but playing weak schedules. They look good. They're peaking at the end versus normally they peak early. Notre Dame has tried to find a relevant coach, this Lou Holtz, that they keep around there for 20 years. I think they found their guy.
I think it's a good marriage. They should try to do everything they can to keep him.
I mean, it ain't like there's not money up there, so.
Yeah, they have money.
I just don't want to see him. I like him. He is like the only thing about Notre Dame I like. I like him.
He's a football guy.
He's a football guy. Players, I mean, when they gave him the job after Brian Kelly, the way the players reacted and stayed and celebrated, that says a lot about him. I would hate to see him go to a bad SEC school with a bad. And I'm not talking about Florida. I'm just saying.
He had to put that out.
Well, I mean, I don't want to think I'm taking a potch. I'm not. But kind of like the Texas A&M deal with Jimbo. You go to a bad culture, bad school, and it ruined him. I don't want to see that happen. I don't think it's too big for him. I just think sometimes I think he's in the right place.
I agree. I think that the SEC, especially teams like Florida, have put a very bad. I mean, it's the SEC retirement plan. I call it that, right? Where these guys, they go there, and 3 years later they're gone with $17 million a year to prove for it because with these $30 million buyouts or whatever, because they can't win because the fan base is such freaking idiots that they can't just wait around for 4 or 5 seasons for a winning season. Now, that being said, you're getting paid that much money, the expectations are high, but you're in the SEC, there's a lot of competition there. Yeah. I think most coaches right now in the environment that you're in would be dumb to leave the school they're at.
With a 12-team playoff?
With a 12-team playoff, why? Yep. In the ACC, you can make it into the playoff every single year if you want to, as long as you win or you had a really freaking good season and came in second.
If he plays his cards right, he'll go interview for another job to show that there's interest, and then he will take a little less money, but a longer term, and stay at Notre Dame. That's what will happen.
Keep that buyout.
Correct. Yeah. I'm going to interject real quick. So they just put out ESPN's projected bracket. As they got Oregon, Texas, BYU, and Miami with byes. They have, in first round, Notre Dame playing Tennessee, Boise playing Ohio State, Ole Miss playing Penn State, Alabama playing Indiana. That's what they've got.
So they really only changed two things around there.
Mm-hmm. So that's ESPN's current projections.
They subbed Miami win the ACC, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I expected that one as well. I was going to put that on my bracket. I expect them.
I even said that I said Miami would be 11 if they kept them in. I think that's what I said, right? They'd be the 11 seed.
But you had SMU as the bye, right?
I had them because as of today, they're the number 1 team in the ACC.
Yeah.
As of today.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if SMU needs any more motivation to whip some ass, that right there should be it.
Yeah.
They don't think nothing of you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think SMU versus Miami in the ACC championship. Miami wins that game.
I do too.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
they think the same thing
because of the defense problem.
The defense problem. Yeah, both teams have great offenses. I think Miami has the better offense. Both teams have probably about the same defense.
Where is the ACC championship?
Charlotte.
It's in Charlotte. Yeah.
I thought they.
Y'all want to go? You want to go?
I thought they were moving out. I thought they moved out of Charlotte and went back to Tampa.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. Charlotte. All right. Biggest game locally this week is going to be 23 Carolina versus 24 Mizzou. Interesting that Mizzou has 2 losses, Carolina has 3 losses, and Mizzou gets to be 24 and Carolina gets to be 23. Obviously, Carolina has the better wins. Obviously, they have the stronger schedule, and that's obvious. That's why Mizzou has a legit chance to if they keep on winning, make the playoffs if they keep on winning because they only have 2 losses.
Why does it feel like Missouri has 4 losses?
Exactly right.
Like they're not.
Yeah, seems like
because Vanderbilt should have beat them.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt had them, and I think there was one other game they pulled out.
Oklahoma probably should have beat them too.
Correct. So that's why they've won, but they've won unimpressively.
They've gotten blown out when they've lost, right?
Correct.
Texas A&M, who was it?
They didn't score a point to Georgia. I think it was like
Alabama 35-0, and then Texas A&M beat them by like 30 or something.
Yeah. So they're getting blown out when they lose. I think that's the reason why they're ranked 24th and not in the top in the teens.
And they lose on the road in tough environments.
Yeah.
So historically, in this series, since Missouri has come into the SEC, the home team wins. The one exception was Connor Shaw out in Columbia, Missouri, came back from 14 down in the fourth to pull South Carolina through.
But that was 12 years ago.
But my point being is, in this series, as they have it, the home team wins, and they are coming to South Cackalack.
I mean, it's
that's the Columbias. Yeah, the Battle of the Columbias.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yep.
I know it's a 4:15 game. But it gets dark at 4:30.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you what. I have not seen this fan base this energized since Steve Spurrier left.
It's gonna be electric.
I mean,
are you going to the game?
I'm going.
You're going to the game. I'm going to the game. Are you going to the game?
Yeah, because my daughter's sorority, it's Dad's weekend this weekend. So
we're all going to the game.
Let's all figure this out.
All right.
So, but no, I mean, look, guys, I have season tickets to Gamecocks because they're my local team. There's been years because I have 6 tickets. I could not give those tickets away. I'm like, here, take them. I don't need my full face value. I've got people coming out of you still have any tickets? No, man, these things have been long gone by now because I do them for my company and what have you. But yeah, this fan base is excited. And one thing I love about South Carolina football, and I'm a transplanting one, is they are realistic about their team. If they make a bowl game and have a good season, they're happy. They're not like the fools up in the upstate that think they ought to win a national championship every year. They are realistic fans. So when they have really good teams, they are ravenous about it. They're ravenous about it because if you want to go historically, South Carolina is not a winning football program.
No.
They're the third worst winning percentage in the SEC, only in front of Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
It's actually, as a Gator fan, I respect the Carolina fans so much.
They show up.
Like, it's that, and they don't bitch about it that much, man. Like, Florida fans, I'm on all these Florida groups on Facebook, and all I hear is, fire Billy Napier, get rid of the coach, get rid of this person, fire the athletic, all this bull crap, and Carolina fans are like,
they don't have the same history.
That's what I'm saying. Let them win a national championship, and that may change.
And so that could change. However, and so they don't have that, same kind of, fire under them.
I talk to people in the neighborhood, and I'm like, that's the correlation between the West Virginia fan and the South Carolina fan is freaking identical. Now I know I've been down. It's not been we had a lot of hopes going into this year, right? So it's been a down year for West Virginia and whatnot. But the way they watch the game, the way they always have doom. Oh, we're going to blow it, or doom and gloom, or this is going to happen. It's the same shit that we do up in West Virginia. I love this fan base down here. I do. I really do.
West Virginia is actually. You know how many SEC championships South Carolina's ever won?
Zero.
They won any.
Zero. They've won the East once.
Yeah.
They've won an ACC championship.
Yeah.
That's the only
in the
conference.
early 80s, right?
No, that's back in like the 70s.
Okay,
ACC. They were independent in the early 80s.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So that's what I love about this fan base. I mean, so when they have success, I mean, they could not have won a game. Like when they were 0-12, they still filled that stadium, but now they have some success, man.
If they ever have a national championship or anything close to that, it'll be nuts.
They'll burn his town down.
They will.
Because they're on fire even without that.
I mean, look how excited they get. I mean, and I'm not. This isn't. I mean, a lot of places women's basketball is whatever, but man, this fan base, they love their women's Gamecock team. They're national champions.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like
big deal.
Hell yeah, it's a big deal. Their baseball team got a lot of love 2 years ago.
Yep.
And, I mean, I love. That's why I think I like this fan base, and I've taken to South Carolina because I feel like I'm watching my blue and gold wearing garnet and whatever, garnet black.
So I don't want to offend people out in Texas fans, right? Sorry, y'all. But I went to that when I went to that game on Saturday against Florida. I'm sitting there, and first of all, you get near the stadium. There's not a tailgate to be seen anywhere. And I said, what's going on, man? Why is there no tailgate? It's like, there's not much of a tailgate culture around here. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you're in the SEC now.
It's Texas football.
There's there was one little area, probably a half a block of some tent set up for like tailgating what you would see. Every place within a mile of the stadium, of Carolina Stadium, is going to have tent set up, people drinking beer, hanging out.
Is it because of all the bars that are down in Austin? Is that
It's not, no, because the stadium's relatively far away from 6th Street.
And
right?
they got an excuse.
It's not that.
Stadium sits right in the middle of the bars, and there's tailgating
They just
around
don't.
that place.
Yeah, they just don't have a tailgating culture, is what he said. But when we got near the stadium, there was a lot of like big tent set up, like not corporate style or whatever, but a lot of people just hang out right around the stadium before you go in. But then when you go into the stadium, there's a lot of the stuff that you see, which is like the traditional stuff with the band playing this song and blah blah blah. But there was not a lot of like hype and excitement in the stadium.
Pageantry.
There was no pageantry, right? And when you go to a Carolina game, it is a It's fucking electric.
Yeah, it is.
It's an electric environment. When you go to a Gators game, when you go to an Alabama game,
yeah.
when you go to a
There's
Georgia
better ones
game,
than that.
yeah, it's electric.
Michigan. I've been to
It's
Michigan.
insane
Yeah.
how much pageantry there is within that stadium with the loud music, the bass going, the songs that are playing, all the stuff that's going on. Plus the fans are going freaking nuts. In Texas, it was kind of boring.
Hey, you bring
in
up
all
a-
honesty, man.
You bring up a great point. I applied to 2 schools in 1991. I applied to Auburn and I applied to Texas. And I went to the game in Texas, Auburn versus Texas in 1991. And that is the exact impression I got of that stadium down there. And I was like, wow. And I was like, we had Auburn, so many Auburn fans at the game and everything. I was like,
Which
you
is
know what?
crazy because you travel across the college station.
I was
It's a whole
like,
different beast.
I was like, I told my dad, I said, I'm going to Auburn because I mean, look at this.
I mean, I've heard
this
it-
is, we're in Austin right now.
I've heard
was-
College Station's
you know?
amazing. I've heard TCU puts on a hell of a show when they get one. I'm just shocked to hear that Texas, that's it. It's just like a pro game.
I mean, like I said, I don't want to offend people because they
you don't care. Offend them.
Fuck them.
Offend
They
them, all
beat
right.
you 49-17.
Tell them the bitch it hanger on the Facebook
Listen,
page.
I sent him a picture of it. At least 1/3 of the people in that stadium were Gator fans.
There's a lot of blue.
There was so like from behind me. I was about 20 rows. I was 20 rows from the back, right? And where I was at, back behind me, all the way around the entire stadium, it was all blue. And then on the Gators side, it was probably 90% blue, all the way halfway across the stadium,
Yeah,
and then dotted throughout.
It
It was
11.
insane.
It wasn't 11 o'clock.
It was an 11 o'clock
Yeah,
kickoff.
but
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. And again, they were playing Florida. I'm not making excuses for them. I'm wondering how many tickets were sold. I got a buddy I can sell these to. This is not a.
That's true, because if it's Texas A&M playing, it's going to be a whole other story. But still, there was no pageantry. I was like,
Yeah, right.
I was like, this is a lot of cool stuff that would have been great in like the 1950s.
Yeah.
It would have been fun in 1950s to see all the stuff that they were doing. But man, there's so much more you can do in a stadium nowadays. You know.
Surprising.
yeah, no,
Really
exact
surprising.
impression I love.
'Cause, I mean, you think football, you
Same
think
thing.
Texas. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Yep. So the last game we're going to talk. I just had to
Well,
bring
hold on.
it
Does
up.
everybody have South Carolina?
Oh, everyone's got South Carolina in this
Yeah.
game, right?
Yes.
All right, mine as well. Yep, we're gonna be leaving that game happy, smile on our faces, and a little bit drunk. All right, number 6, Tennessee at number 11, Georgia. This will determine Tennessee's run for the SEC championship. By the way, if they lose, they're probably not in the SEC championship. If Georgia loses, they're probably not in the playoff picture anymore. Let's be honest.
They're done.
Yeah. So
It's not
each of
wrong
these
with the goal.
so each of these teams have a lot on the line going into this game. Can Georgia protect the ball and not throw 3 interceptions? Is Nico Alphabet gonna? Is that what we're calling him?
He got hurt.
He got
No,
hurt. That's not true. I've heard
my
these-
close sources say that was precautionary. He's in a concussion protocol. They pulled him out just to make absolute sure.
Who were who were they? Were they up? Who were they playing? Mississippi State or somebody?
Who did they play? No, they played Oklahoma.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
No,
Mississippi State. Right?
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So that was okay. So that was a game. Like okay. All
Yeah,
right, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
they had it in their hand.
So who do you got? Who do you got, Rebel? Are you going with Landon and saying Georgia?
My thing is this: is I almost want to put a caveat on this, but I know it's not allowed. If Nico plays, which every intention is, I think that's why they pulled him to make sure he could play this game. Look, Tennessee's offense is sputtered. It's not it's not the Hendon Hooker offense by any stretch of the imagination. But that being said, their defense is better than Ole Miss's defense. And I think Carson Beck is in shambles right now. I know they're playing in Athens, and I know that's a tough place to go. But based off of what you see, I think this is the year Tennessee gets it done on the road. Tennessee brings down Georgia by a field goal.
Woo! All right, Chopper, you agree?
Oh gosh, this is a tough one.
Wait. See,
I just talked you into it.
every fucking week. That's why I should have been here last week.
You know what? I am going to go with the home team here.
You're going with Georgia.
We go with Georgia.
All right.
Home team.
Who do you got? Mountain Jump Jamma?
So, I'm
Jazama Man.
I'm going to say Georgia on this, but Rebel's argument was fantastic, and Carson and again the Carson Beck. But I think Georgia's going to try to keep him. They're going to try to win without having to use him. In other
Yeah,
words, they're
they'll
going to try to
figure out a
run.
way
It's
to-
going to be screens. It's going to be draws.
But that's where I come back around to. Tennessee's defense
Yeah.
is better than Ole Miss's defense.
But I do feel like that if Georgia gets one on them, I don't know. I don't know what the culture is at Tennessee. It just feels like are they going to have that? Oh, here we go again kind of thing. Every time we come down here, this is what happens, right? Because they were hot as shit a couple years ago.
and Georgia thumped them.
Georgia thumped them. after they beat Alabama.
But that's when Georgia had a team, so I think
Yeah,
the
I
national
understand.
championship that year.
You're right.
Yeah, we all know Georgia offensively. They don't have the run. They don't have the pass. Their quarterback is really good at throwing the other team.
This may be honestly.
Yes.
This honestly could be the most boring game on that slate, and this end up being like a 17-13 kind of game,
like that Kentucky game, that 13-12. Whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Georgia, but I really, boy, I tell you, if you had another 10 minutes, I might have changed my mind.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what. Landon the Legend is wrong on this one, bro. It's going to be Tennessee all the way, man. Landon, stick with your parents on this one, okay? Next time, sell your mom the idea of changing it. Say, Mom, I want to change my choice, okay?
Oh, he did.
Oh
She
no!
said, oh no!
He should have been a better salesperson and went with Tennessee because that's who I'm going with.
He should have said he's gonna pee in his pants if you don't let you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pee on the floor if you don't let me change my choice. All right, I'm gonna be smarter than the fourth grader on this one. I'm going with Tennessee. Boom, put me down.
Like
It's on. We all got He already had Georgia, so
Did you?
yeah, he said Georgia.
Yep.
Georgia.
I'm sorry.
All right, so the last thing I gotta say, guys, is what the fuck, man. Do you have a good what the fuck?
Yeah, I do.
Give me what the fuck.
I do. Look, man, I don't care who you know. I don't care if it's a girl that you danced with for years. When your team just gets their ass kicked, you don't jump around and celebrate on the field with their fans and get caught on TV doing so.
Oh, yeah.
Now Kirby Smart covered it well. I would love to have been in the conversation that happened directly between him and Kirby behind closed doors.
Does that kid play?
That I don't know. I mean,
That don't make it any better. I'm just saying, does he play?
that I don't know.
He's probably not gonna be playing.
I mean, he had to come out and make his own statement today. He came out. I don't care. You don't celebrate with the other team when you just got shellacked. You call them later. You go out and have a beer with them later. You don't do that. Everybody's got a phone now. Man, look, you got beat. Tuck your tail. Get in the locker room. Cuss, fuss, whatever. Get on the bus. Go home. What the fuck?
What the fuck? You got a what the fuck, Chopper? How about you over there, Mountain Jam?
That was my.
That was yours. All right. Well, then we're gonna close the show.
What's
and
yours?
say, I don't have one because I
What
used.
kind of show you running around here, man? You ragtag.
I think we got his what the fuck.
I used it at the beginning of the show. And it was
Ghetto shit
what's
around
up
here.
with Mountain Mama's Lying to Me song about his
Lord have
damn
mercy.
West Virginia Mountain Jama Jamma. Right? Like, jeez, man. This song's about Western Virginia, just so you know, Chopper. So, hey, fans, everyone that's listening to the show, make sure you subscribe to the show, give us a 5-star rating and review, and keep on coming back to more Guys in the Bar talking sports.
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us.